Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Matt. I'm back, and in today's layout update video, we are wrapping up the saga of 26th Street Station for the time being. I went ahead and got it to the point where I was happy with taking it up to Chicago to my friend's house for a kind of a big afternoon op session up there, and wanted to discuss that with you, tell you a little bit about how it went, some of my successes, some of my pitfalls, and we'll show some video as well of the operating session. It was a lot of fun. If you've been following the updates on the layout, my big push was to get it kind of ready to go for this little trip. It was kind of a mad rush there at the end just to get everything done and ready and looking great. I had to build a rack for my car. Oh, I want to show you what the rack looks like. All right, you have to forgive me. My room is a wreck right here. I'm in transition. This is the rack. It is basically made out of scrap. You can see right here. I got legs on one side, no legs on the other, because my seats don't lay flat. If you have an SUV and you lay the seats down, they're kind of at an angle. And so basically this is in the trunk section of it, and then this part is laying on the back of the seat. And then in the center is where the layout slides in. Below that, you can stick your legs, and on top of that you can stick like all your models and your cars and stuff that go along with the layout. I got some foam that I have glued on here just to keep the vibration and the rubbing from taking off the finish on the layout itself. I got some tape along the sides here to keep the wood from rubbing against each other and taking off that finish as well. Worked out really well. It is 21.5 inches wide, and then on the inside here where the layout slides in, it's 20 inches wide. The layout itself with the fascia is 19.5 inches, so I had a quarter of an inch on either side play to get the layout kind of slid into place, but it fits. That was the big thing, was just trying to get it to fit in the back of my SUV. It could not be any wider than this, and I was starting to get nervous there as I was measuring stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to actually be able to fit this layout back here or not? Because it ended up being wider than I expected it to be. But luckily, it fits. It fits perfectly. It can't fit any more perfectly. If it was any wider, it wouldn't have fit. But this is it. I mean, it's a simple, mostly scrap wood kind of situation. I wanted to build up, kind of be able to stack things on top of each other and still protect everything. Still make sure that the layout itself was protected. Make sure that there was an area to stack stuff on top of it without touching the layout itself. I got these kind of wood stops here to keep stuff from sliding off of the top and onto the layout itself. It worked out perfect. I had decided to wait until the morning of my trip to go ahead and load it up because I had designed this thing to come apart in seconds and to get loaded in and fit in there, and it would be just perfect, right? Just perfect. It didn't end up being that way. What happened was we unexpectedly decided to repave our entire driveway, which is great. We've got a nice new driveway now, but we also had for weeks just a big mud pit. And so I couldn't pull my car into the driveway, which meant I had to, the way my house is arranged, what I had to end up doing was walking the layout out around the house, down the cul-de-sac, and onto a different street in order to get to it. So, I was originally going to just load it through the garage and into my car, but then it ended up being like a big trip for me to take these big modules on a little adventure to my car. On top of that, it was, of course, raining. So My layout was getting wet as I'm trying to carry it, and I'm trying to like angle it so that, you know, the electronics are safe, but then the track work doesn't get wet because I don't want anything to happen to the ballast. It was a nightmare. It was basically everything that could go wrong ended up going wrong. Loading that car up, and it ended up being about an hour late. The biggest issue was one of my legs got stuck. For whatever reason, you know, I've got these pockets my legs kind of go into. And for whatever reason, that one leg, I don't know if it's the pocket swelled or what, but I mean, here I am in the basement, already late to get out the door to drive up to Chicago, banging away at the bottom of my layout with a hammer, trying to free this one leg. I had to disassemble the whole leg assembly. Finally got the leg out, reassembled the leg assembly, got it in the car. So I got there, set everything up, and I discovered the night prior to going to the trip, I discovered that I had kind of a big issue, and that was around the double crossover and the street, 11th Avenue. If you recall, I use those cobblestone sheets to create those Belgian block roads, and those sheets I had originally been very careful to align almost to the tops of the rails so that it was just a beautiful looking street. Very happy with how it turned out, looked great. And then the glue lifted, so now those sheets were sitting just slightly above the rail head, which meant that my locomotive was losing power every time it went over those sheets of Belgian block. So unfortunately, for Isaac and Matt, the guys who were operating my layout, it would just, the locomotive shut down every time it tried to cross over that road, which is quite a few times in a single operating session. So guys, I apologize. I know that was a heck of a thing to have to deal with. You know, between that and me probably not doing a good enough job cleaning my railheads off after ballasting, there was a lot of electrical problems. And so that's going to be a big deal to fix that. So I don't know what I'm going to do now. If I'm going to remove all those sheets and then sand them down so that I can get them lower, or if I'm going to try to, I think what I'm going to try to do is just cut them away from the railhead a little bit. And then kind of fill in that area with some grout or something, and then paint it. You know, whatever I end up doing, I think it'll look fine because the whole thing's kind of underneath the highway overpass anyway. So it'll look fine. You know, being operational is more important to me than looking perfect, right? It's got to be able to operate. You got to be able to run trains over it without them cutting off. So John's layout is great. John is modeling a helper operations over the Cascades in Oregon, and he's got a fantastic looking layout. You know, it's amazing how much layout is kind of squeezed into a fairly small space. Really cool, and very different for me. I mean, helper operations are very neat. And I don't get to run helper operations every day. So a fantastic layout. I'm gonna throw some video footage here for you guys to check out. We did track warrants, which are always fun. And yeah, just had a great time with that too. I got to bring some of my locomotives over and run those on his layout as well. So he's had a really fantastic vision for this layout and been able to really do a good job of executing on that vision. And I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but he started working on that layout when he was in high school, which is, it's an incredible feat to me. When I was in high school, all I could really muster was a little N-scale layout on a door. And to see that this is what he was doing as a high schooler, I'm so excited to see what model of railroading this guy has in store for him in the future, because he's just got a really fantastic eye for it. I love running trains on his layout, and I'm really excited that he invited me, and I was able to bring my layout over to his house to show him. And the other guys, I think I might have convinced a couple of them to build a small bug out layout of their own. Just having a small little layout that you can change focus, change direction on, do something a little bit different, and then slide it in underneath, you know, your main big layout to store away when you're not in the mood to work on it. It's a really awesome thing to have. Next up for the layout, I am going to be taking this layout to St. Louis RPM in July of 2026. I think it'll be July. I'm not sure the actual dates on it yet. But it's nearly ready to go. I'm going to fix the issue with the Belgian block streets so that those things are operating properly. I'm going to do a few other little things here and there, but it's in a pretty good spot right now to show off as its sort of first iteration at St. Louis RPM. I want to, over the years, kind of bring it back occasionally with more and more work done to it, right? With that said, this is going to be the last update on 26th Street Station for a while. I don't plan on doing a ton more work to it between now and St. Louis next year. Most of my work is going to be focused on the Meadowland Falls branch, as well as another kind of secret model railroad project. It's not really secret. If you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you know exactly what it is. But between those two model railroading projects, I'll be pretty busy for a while. So yeah, I lessons learned on 26th Street Station so far. Smaller is oftentimes much better than large. And don't be afraid to try something new. The whole thing about turning back the clock to the 50s was kind of scary for me because I don't really know a whole lot about the 1950s railroading scene. I've been a modern model railroader my entire life, and you know, trying to keep up with the times. And so turning back the clock was surprisingly exciting. But I am rambling, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here. Thank you so much for following me along on my journey building 26th Street Station. I've got a ton of fantastic projects for this model railroading season, if you will. So lots of great videos to come. Go ahead and subscribe if you're interested in following along and what I'm doing. And yeah, I'll see all of you in another video.